Howdy, folks. I'm Pompous Prometheum, prosaically policing puny poltergeists.
I'm Amber.
And here are more puny poltergeists for us to police because that's something that happens in real life. Let's get started. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Dancing with Another Man? My brother got married last month. I'm a 22-year-old female, and I went alone because my boyfriend had an actuary exam 2 days ago, so he had to stay and revise. During the reception, Perfect by Ed Sheeran came on and people started pairing up. Yes, mostly it was with their partners, but the best man, a childhood friend of my brother, whom I have known since I was 5 and I was 3, offered his hand and we slow danced for the song. In my head, it was strictly platonic. I've known him for almost 20 years, and there's never been a shred of anything more, either from him or from me. Anyways, we get some of the videos and photos back, and my boyfriend is majorly upset that I was dancing with the best man. Said it was a betrayal, and that I shouldn't be dancing to such an intimate song with other men. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I don't think Opie was being a jerk here. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with dancing platonically with another person, even if it's to a slow song. And the thing is, Opie's partner wasn't able to be there, so was she just supposed to, sit out all the slow songs?
Well, and I also want to point out that oftentimes the bride will dance with her father, and it'll be during a slow song too, so it's now that off limits. I think it's a person that she's known for a long time. It would be like dancing with her brother. Would you say slow dancing with her brother would be a bad thing and that was cheating or a betrayal?
Some people would.
Some people...
I wouldn't agree with that, but I have seen comments on things online.
Yeah, well, I kind of disagree on that. I think that this is very much one of those situations where OP didn't really do anything that I think was wrong. If she had other bad intentions, then I could see it being upsetting, but why would you get this upset about this? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And new individual 4954 says, how would you feel if your fella had done this to you and saw the videos? And OP replies, if it was a reverse of my situation where he danced with a girl that he had a platonic friendship with for the last 20 years, I wouldn't mind. And Feeling the Mode says, more info, be honest. How cute did you look while dancing? Because that's now the metric of deciding whether someone's cheating or not. The reason that I ask is that my best friend's girl, if we were dancing and all the videos and photos showed us being goofy and stupid while doing it, my partner probably wouldn't raise an eyebrow. But if it looked like it was a really romantic dance, and it was lovely, tender, intimate moment, then I reckon that she would have a question about it. Makes sense? And OP replies, honestly, I don't think that it looked romantic. Yes, we were dancing, but we were both upright. Some of the other women were leaning and swaying on their partners, and there was a gap between us. So they weren't even
flushed up against each other.
Yeah.
It's the awkward middle school shuffle.
Yeah, they were doing an awkward middle school shuffle, and he has a problem with it. We're all going to feel discomfort at some point in time and another, but I don't think OP had any ill intentions here, is really what it sounds like. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Creepy Coworker, a 58-year-old male, new job. What's the best course of action? I am an 18-year-old female, and I started this new job that I love. It's a stalking job that pays decent money at my age. I, first of all, would not like to leave. I need health insurance and good pay and hours, and this job provides me with that along with other benefits. This started 6 days ago when I had my first day at the job. At 8 a.m., I was trained by a very sweet lady, a 50-year-old plus female. Unfortunately, she had to leave at noon. To which I was then transferred to this guy. We'll call him Creep, a 58-year-old male. He gave no creepy vibes at all through the rest of the 4-hour shift. We were both leaving at 4 p.m. However, about 10 minutes before I had to leave, I asked him if he needed any more help with anything and if I was free to leave. He then asked me out for a date. I politely declined, and I get a, well, I asked remark with a tone. This entire situation caught me off guard, but I just walked away and left ASAP. Fast forward to yesterday, I've known him for about 5 days now. He comes into our store dressed casually and is clearly not working. Creep stands by me for about 5 minutes before I stop doing my work and stare at him. The task that I was working on required me to lean down, and I'm not comfortable with doing that with him anymore. I asked him if he needed any help, and he proceeded to mindlessly make small talk about work. I responded to him very vaguely and stood there until he got the clue to leave. After going home, I did a cheap, quick background check on him, and it says that he's been convicted of kidnapping over 20 years ago. I have thought about telling my boss, a 40-year-old female, but she is a very cold person and is very professional. I'm not sure how I could bring this up to her. I don't want to be a round creep because he asked me out once. I feel like it's too mundane for me to do. I have thought about telling him very bluntly to leave me alone, but considering his possible past, it scares me. I have also thought about telling my boss's assistant, a 20-year-old female who is much more talkative and easygoing. What would be the best course of action for a new employee to take? Note, he's asked me where I live, if I was in high school, not my age, and if I was alone at work, etc. Alright folks, what do you think of this one?
Oh, I just feel so bad for poor OP in this situation. It is not a good situation. Now, I don't know if OP's company has an HR department, but I would reckon HR would be, if the HR department exists, HR is probably the best place to go to document what's happened so far.
Yeah, I also think that this probably could qualify as sexual harassment at this point in time, and so OP, if he's sexually harassing you and staring at you while you're bent over working, I would think would clearly mark a uncomfortable territory. I mean, it's not probably going to get him fired, but he will at least be reprimanded.
Yeah, maybe reassigned. And I know to you, OP, it may not feel like a lot of stuff, but all these little things, they do add up. And so the way he's creeping around, like asking if you're in high school
Yeah.
and like, are you alone at this? Like, those are not good, normal questions to be asking your coworker in this context. Like, I think it's worth compiling a list of everything he's done and bringing that up to ideally HR, but if you don't have an HR, your boss would probably be the next best person to go to.
And I mean, that's what your boss is there for, anyways, right? And the thing is that if your boss doesn't handle this correctly, then it's not really a job you probably want to be at for long term, anyways. I know you like the job and it's something that you enjoy. And I would explain that to your boss that you really like the job and you really are, settling into the position, but you're really getting bad vibes from this person. He's asked you out. He's stared at you in a lewd way that's made you uncomfortable. I would say if you feel comfortable enough that you can confront him and say, stop and leave me alone. But if you're not comfortable enough, then I mean, that's part of the reason why your boss is there to help mediate these situations. And hopefully he can get the idea that what he's doing here is not right and leave you alone from here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you have right to be wary. I definitely get serious bad vibes from reading this post, and
Mm-hmm.
so listen to your gut here. And I know that this job offers a lot of benefits that are hard to get at 18, like health insurance and whatnot, but maybe keep your eye out for similar positions because this situation seems like it could get bad. Like, this guy does not have good intentions, and
Yeah, well, and I think that there's a lot of problematic pieces here. I think that, again, talking to the boss isn't going to get him fired, probably, unless he has like a history of these kinds of behaviors, in which case it'll be the last straw and he'll get fired, right? And he'll deserve it. But talking to your boss about how he's making you uncomfortable isn't also going to be a black mark. It shouldn't be a black mark against you. And if it is, then that's reprisal and the company isn't handling its employees well.
yeah, and I'm concerned that he even has as much liberty to harass OP as he does. Like, I would be surprised if you were the first employee he did something like this
Yeah.
to. And so, either one, he is just really, like, at the end of his limits and doesn't care, or two, the company doesn't handle this very well, or people are too intimidated to talk about him.
Yeah. Well, and I think also P mentioned talking to the boss's assistant, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is probably going to be a good way of approaching that as well. Or even this 50-year-old plus woman, right? Any of these people, they can be your allies here. They're probably not going to want to see you harassed and feel uncomfortable, and they might be able to give you pointers on how to proceed here. So I
Yeah.
think talking to the other coworkers is probably a good approach here too.
Yeah, and they also may be able to be like, oh, he's done this to me too. And then, like, maybe you can do like a joint complaint or something like that.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Exit Pursued by Bear 312 says, kidnapping, eh? What's that all about? And OP replies, not exactly sure. It just says the charge, which was kidnapping. I'm from a small town in Michigan, and he's from Grand Rapids. I wouldn't put it past him. I've heard so many horror stories about kidnapping. Not sure if it's common here, but it's just from my experience. Okay, cuckoo, okay, says, please professionally talk to your boss about how a 58-year-old man asked an 18-year-old out and go from there. And Kate Clams 144 says, do it and follow up in writing, email, text, and screenshots. Leaving a paper trail forces management to take it more seriously. And that's actually a really good point. If OP does have access to a company email, then that might be a good approach too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Being Annoyed That My Father-in-Law Didn't Offer to Pay for My Dinner? Read post first. This happened a few months ago. My wife, kids, and wife's parents went out to dinner. It was casual family-friendly restaurant, nothing expensive. The bill came and my father-in-law said, I'll pay for my daughter and grandkids. This annoyed me. He can't offer to buy me dinner. I don't expect a free meal, but it seemed like a cheapskate move to me. I didn't order anything expensive, a grilled chicken sandwich with bacon and fries that cost $15. I drank water. Annoyed, I grabbed the bill and I paid for everyone, handed the waiter my debit card. My father-in-law acted annoyed. I don't care. I considered it rude that he wouldn't offer to buy me dinner. Also, he's always only tipped $5 regardless of the size of the bill. I tip almost 20% every single time. So am I the jerk for being annoyed that he didn't offer to buy me dinner? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think Opie's being a jerk here. And to their direct question, like, your feelings are your feelings. So if you get annoyed, like, it doesn't seem like you mishandled your annoyance. So you're not in the wrong for getting annoyed. But then I also don't think OP's in the wrong for the way they approached this. Like, they paid for the meal.
Yeah.
And that's, at that point in time, like, it's not like that was, like, they were, like, rude or anything. They just, like, took the bill and were like, okay, well, I'll just pay it then.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that was actually a really good way of deflecting this because it actually, you paid for his meal and showed that you were a bigger person. You didn't just say, no, I'll pay for everyone's meal except for his, right? Mm-hmm. You actually were like, no, I'll just pay for the whole thing. Don't worry about it. And kind of showed him that he was acting like a petty individual. I think, if anything, you beat him at his own game. This was probably the best way of handling a situation like this.
Yeah, well, it seems like he wants to make OP upset and uncomfortable and be like, you don't belong in this family. And so OP, hopefully he didn't get any, like, if he's upset, maybe because he didn't get on OP's nerves as much. He didn't get the satisfaction of seeing OP flip out or something.
Yeah.
I would say it might be worth OP talking to his wife about talking to her parents, because I'm wondering why she didn't say anything to her father in the moment, because that was not a cool move.
No, it wasn't. And I think some of this is that it just seems like this is a very petty situation, and that the father might even have a way of trying to, like, buy people that he likes. And so if he can get people on his side by being like Mr. Moneybags and being like, I'll pay for these people and show, if you work with me or if I like you, then I'll work and give you money or something like that. Or, and I think that this was one of those situations where OP kind of deflected that well. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our final letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Colleague What She Said Was Problematic? A little brief background. I'm a 31-year-old female, and I have a senior colleague, a 50-year-old female, who has always been condescending, rude, and sometimes very callous towards me, even though I tried to keep things minimal and professionally related. For example, my dog just passed away, and she made a remark that he was just a dog, and to get over it. Side note, she interrupted a personal conversation between me and a close colleague in a private room as I started to sob and needed privacy. I was not loud, for your information. The room has a glass window, and she just happened to be passing by and stuck her head into the door. 2, my workplace is toxic, and I'm looking for other jobs right now. This was just the final straw. Today, I was having a cheese tteokbokki as a comfort meal, my go-to for when I'm feeling heartbroken. She just arrived to the staff lounge, and I saw her side-eyeing me, and said to my face, "Ethnic food is so smelly." and asked me to never bring ethnic food again. Although I'm not Korean or Korean American, I'm a woman of color, and as an immigrant, it rubbed me the wrong way, and I told her that she was offensive. She started to cry, and I was told by another colleague that I should have been kinder. Am I the jerk? Keep in mind that I do understand that some people are sensitive or allergic to aromas. What bothered me is that she was talking about how ethnic food is smelling and telling me not to bring it anymore. It feels controlling. Apologies for any grammatical, format, or spelling mistakes on my end. Thank you for reading. Edit. We are a small company with no HR, unfortunately, and I have attempted various times on incidents, including her telling me to get over my dog, who crossed the Rainbow Bridge recently, but they believe in the whole we're a huge family and turn a blind eye. It's one of the biggest reasons why I want to leave. However, I have been documenting what she's been doing and have considered posting on Glassdoor and something similar. Edit 2, I was DM'd to tell this point. I am one of the few people of color working there. Since starting to work more closely together, before it was limited interactions, yet still awful ones, it has gotten worse to where she has made many various remarks towards me, including microaggressive. I wasn't going to mention due to the character limit and whatnot, but I realize it's another huge reason why it bothered me. Alright folks, what do you think?
I don't think OP's in the wrong here, and I think that this way this company is operating is really, really gross. You know, what this woman has said is uncalled for on so many levels. I mean, the food comment in particular is xenophobic and really not acceptable in a professional work environment. Not acceptable anywhere, but like I don't know how any company can just like let xenophobia slide like that. And like, who tells someone who's crying, like, just get over your dog? Like, OP, I am so sorry that you lost your pet. That's really hard, and, like, that's such a cruel thing to say.
Yeah, well, my deepest condolences towards you, OP. I know this is a difficult situation, and I know that you were probably venting to this other person, and she just butted her head in and made these rude comments. And then also, like, the food comment on top of that is just completely uncalled for. I think that you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You told her that she was acting offensive. She was acting offensive.
Yeah.
You just told her what she was.
Right.
And then she goes and has the audacity to turn this around and be like, oh, you made me cry even though I was a bully. And this is like, you know, defending yourself against someone who's attacking you and then them crying when you do that.
It does not seem like a good work environment.
No, it doesn't. And I hope that OP, you can find a better job with an HR department where you don't have to deal with people like this, because this is just not a healthy or good work environment. So, but let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Lady Cass79 says, that was offensive. You did nothing wrong. I don't really care if her xenophobia is conscious or unconscious. Not the jerk. And OP replies, this is how I feel too, but my other colleague is suggesting that because I don't like her, I'm being biased. However, regardless of my experiences with her, what she said was wrong to me, but I wanted to make sure that I'm being fair here, or that I'm not being unfair here. Another thing, my other colleague stated that she's older, which I don't find as an excuse at all.
And that's the thing. There's no excuse for xenophobia. Like, being older just means that she has had more years to learn that xenophobia is not okay.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people get stuck in their ways, but it's a good reminder to not be stuck in your ways and not to adopt bad habits that are going to make you look like a bad individual. She chose to say these things.
Mm-hmm.
She could have just kept her mouth shut, but she chose to say these things, and she meant to hurt you with them.
Right. I mean, people have foods that I might find smelly or unappetizing, but I'm not going to go up to them and be like, ew, that food is so gross. And it wasn't even just one particular meal. She made a general sweeping statement that all quote-unquote ethnic foods.
Yeah. I mean, I could certainly be, if she was to say something like, oh, that's cilantro I'm allergic to, or I'm really sensitive to a certain smell. Can you not include that spice the next time you have a food or bring it? It can really aggravate me, or I have an allergic reaction. But this was, oh, I don't like your ethnic food, and it bothers me that you're bringing it in because it isn't what is normal or something like that. So, not good. Poor form on her part. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, She's grinning like a Cheshire cat with yet another jovial Bobstein joke. Let's give ourselves a hand, folks. Jovial Bobstein.
What did the vampire from outer space say when he landed on Earth?
I can tell you exactly what the vampire from outer space said when he landed on Earth. He said, "Why, Jovial Bobstein, am I in yet another joke? Especially one about space vampires."
He said, "Take me to your bleeder."
I mean, I guess, like, aliens could be vampires. That's fine. We have an alien vampire, and these alien vampires, they come down to Earth to feed on humans. That's the joke. The joke is it's funny.
I like it.
And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We just have a couple more days to go, and then we can be on the weekend. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it in the form of a slow song.
Dance with me and don't feel guilty. It's just one slow song and not a lifetime commitment.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.